Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on our little YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is the show where we talk about those things that we just absolutely love. Movies and TV, streaming, all sorts of good stuff. And, just all those things that make us happy. That's what we like to talk about. And we are so glad that you guys are here to be a part of this. Joining me in studio, of course, is our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Huzzah!
Our resident writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
Well, hello.
And of course, most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show a part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or a question you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our super chat feature that's in the live chats. Now, that means you got to be watching the show live. If you're watching this show a little bit later in the day, you can't send in a question. But if you're watching live, you can fire it on in. As long as it's appropriate for us to address in the show, we'll address it in the second part of the show. All right, guys. That down? Let's get things started here with the final week of the year. And we're going to start off with this. You know, I like the looks of a lot of movies coming out, but sometimes there's a movie coming out that I don't think it looks very good at all. One of the movies is Primate. I remember the first time I saw the trailer for Primate, I was in a movie theater and everybody laughed. And in case you don't know, Primate is not a comedy. But we all laughed at it. I thought it looked absolutely terrible. I'm just be honest with you. I thought it looked like garbage. Well, funny thing happened yesterday. The review embargo lifted. And as of right now, here on Rotten Tomatoes, this thing's got a 92%. A 92%. I want to remind everybody that this isn't first reactions. These are the actual full legit reviews that are coming out. And it's got a 92%. Now, nobody is saying it's going to be the best film of the year, but everybody seems to like it. Let's go over and check out some of the reviews here, shall we? We're going to start off with our friend Perry Nemiroff has her review in there. She writes, practical creature work at its finest and some top tier gore. That's one of the things that is common a lot. Apparently it's an extremely gory film.
And she knows her horror.
Oh yeah. Perry likes her horror. Primate is a hugely successful swing for the fences wild time, an excellent start to the horror genre in 2026. Let's see. The Blogging Banshee wrote, Primate is a white knuckle throwback to animal attack films of yore made for modern audiences. Scully Vision wrote, a nonstop cavalcade of tension, brutality, and absolutely killer practical effects. Screen Anarchy liked it, said, those who love this kind of lean and mean creature feature, one with a grim and ridiculous sense of humor, should be very pleased with the results. It is nostalgia for a bygone era of filmmaking, but it is done with a dash of contemporary flair. First Showing liked it. They said it's really just a fun horror movie concept that succeeds as 89 minutes escapism, totally effed up genre entertainment. Can I say how much I love hearing that it's like 90 minutes?
Yeah.
I love that. Jam Report liked it, said an unapologetically wild and deliciously gory creature feature that blends animal attack horror with some home invasion tension and just enough self-awareness to make it go down smooth.
Go down smooth.
Bounding into Comics liked it. They said Primate has moments of pure terror that are only intensified by its raw and animalistic bloodshed. It is essentially a slasher film full of stupid decisions and a ridiculous concept, but it's intense as hell and fiercely entertaining. Listen, I'm telling you what, I watched the trailers for this and I thought, no way am I going to go see this movie.
Just look like a bunch of monkeying around.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, come on. It's too early for that, even though it's noon.
I'm just like, this just looks so stupid. No, it's going to take, the monkey's so scary. Although I will say, the one thing in the trailer that maybe gave me a little bit of a hint that it could be more than that was they did, in an abbreviated way, show the part where it like grabs her hand and then totally breaks her fingers. I'm like, that was pretty disturbing. But overall, and then the guys in the bed, oh, what's going on? And the sheets rising up to see the monkey's face. I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be scary. This looks so stupid. But I'm telling you what, a lot of people that I know are watching this and they're saying, This is actually really fun. And I'm glad to hear it. Now, somebody is reminding me in the live chat, hey, listen, a full-grown adult chimp would probably rip you apart. Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying otherwise. But, you know, when you just look at, what's his name, Ben? It doesn't look terribly scary. But apparently this is a lot of action, a lot of white knuckle, a lot of gore. And people seem to be enjoying it. So you know what, Rob? Sign me up. I think I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to go see Primate now. What did you think about the previews? And then what's standing out to you about these reviews?
I thought the previews looked stupid because, like you, I saw them in the theater. And I'm like, what is this? Now, you know, especially because we had the Monkey movie already that we already got from Oz Perkins, the Stephen King adaptation, The Monkey. There's been all kinds monkeys, bad monkeys, good monkeys in movies have always been a thing, but this just looked ridiculous. Now, hearing these reviews, however, and especially in the wake of, you know, that woman who had her face eaten off by the monkey, and they made the documentary about monkeys, and I'm like, somebody
don't forget about Nope.
Right, right, and somebody watched that documentary and said, "Oh, I've got it." So it seems to me like, what's not to love? Look, everyone loves monkeys, just like they love ninjas and they love dinosaurs. Kids love. There's dinosaurs eating people's number one, but monkeys going amok. King Kong being the biggest.
Apes on horseback.
I love apes on horseback. Dude, apes on horseback with armor and guns. Yeah. Have I said this before? I've said it before. Killer monkeys, man. I'm in.
Here's the other surprising thing. It's directed by a guy named Johannes Roberts, who hasn't really made anything that I particularly... His 57 meters down wasn't bad.
Oh, right.
The follow-up, not so good. He did a VHS movie like a couple of years ago, too, that I didn't think was very good. He did was it Resident Evil? It was the Netflix, I think Raccoon City. Is that what it was? Which I had to tap out of. So, I mean, that was the other thing that made me not have a lot of belief in this. Because sometimes I can see a movie that looks questionable, but then I'll look at the director's filmography and think, oh, well, maybe there's... I had the exact opposite feeling of this, but apparently everybody's saying this is a good time. So who knew?
Woohoo!
Primate. I'm looking forward to going to see it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about these reviews? I'm not going to lie. I'm shocked. I thought this thing looked like total crap, and maybe it will be total crap. But so far, a lot of the people who've seen it are saying this is actually surprisingly good. It's super gory, old-fashioned horror slasher film. Sounds good to me. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on and talk about this, shall we? You know, Avatar 3, Avatar Fire and Ash came out, and I quite enjoyed it. It's my least favorite of the three Avatar films, but I still liked it. I had a good time with it. Big smile on my face. But it didn't do particularly great on its opening weekend, say, compared to the last one. Because Avatar The Way of Water debuted to like $133, $134 million, something like that. This one opened to $88 million. Now, we were quick to point out to everybody when it opened to 88, none of the Avatar films opened big. The first Avatar opened to 70 something, and it's the highest grossing film of all time. Way of Water opened to 134, which is not breaking any records. And it is now like the third or fourth highest grossing film of all time. And so we said, the big thing about Avatar is not its opening weekend, it's the legs. What kind of legs will it have? Will it be able to crack it out? Well, listen to this. Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Avatar 3, which opened with 88 million, okay? 88 million on its first weekend. It made 64 million on its second weekend, representing just a 23% drop. Now, if you want to put that in context, let's look at this. Avatar The Way of Water, which opened to 134 million. Avatar Fire and Ash opened to 88 million. On its second weekend, Avatar The Way of Water made $63 million and took a respectable 53% drop. That's a standard drop.
Yeah.
Avatar Fire and Ash made more money on its second weekend than Avatar The Way of Water made on its second weekend. Fire and Ash just took a 28% drop, and by the end of day 10, it's going to approach $800 million. Not at 800 yet, but by the end of day 10, it's going to be approaching $800 million. Now, do I think this now means that Avatar Fire and Ash will make the $2.3 billion that Avatar Way of Water did? No, I still don't think it's going to break the $2 billion mark. But I'm telling you what, man, the fact that this movie made more money on its second weekend, took almost half the amount of a drop that Avatar Way of Water did. Again, if you look at Avatar Way of Water, took, again, respectable 53% drop. Fire and Ash, only a 28% drop, which is telling us that word of mouth must be pretty good. I mean, you know what? I was surprised, Rob, when I did an open spoiler discussion, I had a lot of people write in and say they actually thought Fire and Ash was their favorite of the Avatar franchise. It's my least favorite, but I still like it a lot. But anyway, $64 million. This should shut a lot of people up about whether Avatar Fire and Ash is a flop or not, because it's going to cross $1 billion by the time we get to the next weekend, and then it's going to be how far above it can it go from there. Again, I still don't think it's going to make $2 billion, but this is a amazing holdover from week one, especially when you compare it to Avatar Way of Water. Anyway, Rob, you're looking at these numbers. What's standing out to you?
Never bet against Jimmy C.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a truism in life. But here's the thing. What I don't understand, there's always been to me a disconnect. I love the Avatar movies. I love them for what they are. You know, I always talk about loving movies at scale. I think Primate and Avatar are great examples on either side of the spectrum. What you want is, whether you're watching a low budget horror film or you're watching the biggest of all biggest budget movies, you want that, as you always call it, which is so right, an experiential event in the theaters.
Right.
If you get a low budget or a practical Primate monkey movie where people are getting their faces torn off and it's blood filled and awesome for 90 minutes, that's 90 minutes of time well spent. And if you go see a 3 hour and 15 minute or 3 hour and 17 minute Avatar movie and you get transported to Pandora and you get to watch fight scenes and you get to watch, you know, somebody get their freak on with the Na'vi leader of their tribe. I mean, and you get to watch you get to watch whales talk to each other in the middle of the ocean, that I found kind of moving, to be honest. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that if movies at whatever budget level provide that experiential event, people are going to go and they're going to walk out, whether you like. I'm so tired of hearing the arguments against the Avatar franchise are the most yawn inducing I've ever heard. I've been listening to them now for 16 years. They're all the same. I've been hearing the same thing. But the fact is, look at people are going because they go into the theater and they're like amazed and they're having a good time and they come out. Well, it's got no pop culture footprint. What do you want? You want the Happy Meals? Do you want the action figures? What do you?
Yeah, the two existing ones are both in the top 3 of the highest grossing films of all time. I say that counts as a cultural footprint.
It does. It just doesn't have. It's not. Look, I am not that interested. I don't want a technical manual of Pandora. I want a Star Trek technical manual with all the spaceships in it. I want cutaway drawings of the Star Wars Sandcrawler. That's why I buy all that stuff. Pandora, I'm good, but I'll go in and see those movies every couple of years. And you know what? The real question is, how long before we hear that Avatar 4 is greenlit?
Yeah, well, here's the funny thing about that, because James Cameron came out a few days ago and made this really weird statement where he said, if we don't do Avatar 4 and 5, I'll have a press conference and just tell everybody what the plan was for 4 and 5, where it was all going to go. And I thought, that's a weird thing to say.
Right.
Although, again, Jimmy is... I mean, look, he still has years left in his directing career. He does, but he's getting to the top end of his directing career, right? What is he now? 71? Is that what we said
Something
before?
like that. But he's one healthy dude.
Oh, he's an incredibly healthy dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's all that good, crisp Canadian weather, I'm sure.
New Zealand weather.
Was that? Yeah. Well, he lives there. Yeah.
It's all
most
those
of the year.
deep dives, that high pressures.
That's right. Going down to the Titanic all
Yeah.
the time. But I mean, so I thought that was weird. But again, with these types of numbers, I just don't see reality, especially once it crosses the $1 billion mark again. I just don't see a reality where Disney doesn't say. I mean, obviously they can't force James Cameron to do anything, and I'm sure they wouldn't do another Avatar without James Cameron, but they will back up the bank truck to James Cameron's house. Although he's probably already under contract to do 4, because I already believe they already shot some of 4. They shot some of Avatar 4 while they were shooting Avatar 3. So I think you're right. I would be can't guarantee it, but I would be stunned if they don't do 4 now. I mean, with this type of money that it's making, it would be crazy. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Avatar Fire and Ash just had a second weekend that was even better than Avatar The Way of Waters, despite the fact that Avatar The Way of Water had a much bigger opening weekend than Fire and Ash did, taking only a 28% drop, and it's going to cross the $1 billion mark in just a few days. How big can it go? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on and talk about this, shall we? You know, one of the things that I hate most about YouTube, and there's so many things I love about YouTube, but one of the things I've always hated most about it, especially as a movie fan, is when you get these straight up lying headlines. Whether it's, you know, full X-Men 7 trailer breakdown, and then you watch it's like, oh, there was no X-Men 7 trailer. Or what really started to bug me is before Fantastic Four came out, first official Fantastic Four trailer, and you watch it and it's some edited together goop or whatever, and it presents itself as the real trailer, and you realize you just wasted your time. Or worse, they sometimes actually trick people into thinking that it is actually the trailer. And that problem has only gotten exponentially worse with the advent of AI. And we talked a few months ago, Rob, about how YouTube was going to start taking a closer look at these channels that make these fake AI trailers. Well, a few days ago, this happened. Deadline reported this. YouTube has now shut down some prominent channels using AI to create fake movie trailers. This was one of the big thumbnails. Fantastic Four. See, the thumbnail specifically says new trailer, Fantastic Four. And it kind of looks like it would be a Fantastic, but it wasn't. It was AI slop. Anyway, they're right. YouTube has terminated 2 prominent channels that used artificial intelligence to create fake movie trailers, Deadline can reveal. The Google-owned video giant has switched off Screen Culture, which was always one of the biggest, violators of this, and KH Studio, which together boasted well over 2 million subscribers and more than 1 billion views. The channels have been replaced by the message, "This page isn't available. Sorry about that. Try searching for something else." Screen Culture and KH Studios were approached for comment, and they are based in India and Georgia, respectively. Okay, look. The reason I celebrate this is not because all AI is blanket generically bad. You shouldn't be able to use AI for anything. That's not what this is about. What it's about is using AI to further something that I already thought was a problem. These fake trailers that advertise themselves as real trailers, one, because they waste people's time, and second, it can actually deceive people who buy into it. And with AI's ability now, you can forgive a lot of average film fans if they watch one of those trailers and maybe think it's real. You can give them that. So I think this is the right move for them, because you've got to be able to trust what you're watching. Like when you go to YouTube, you want to be able to, not for something that's opinion-based because somebody could be right or wrong, but I mean, something perpetuates itself. This is the trailer for Fantastic Four. And it's absolutely not. You can't have that. It wastes people time. It deceives the audience. I'm glad they got shut down. I mean, here's hoping they can recreate themselves and do something more constructive and maybe come back. But I'm glad this iteration of them has been shut down. And I'm glad YouTube kind of stepped in. Anyway, Rob, you heard about this. We talked about this a few months ago. It looks now like YouTube's actually pulled the plug on them. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, one of the things about, look, we live in this AI world. I've been playing with AI. I understand all that. But when you are encroaching on someone else's copyrights, their trademarks, their IP, that is when you cross over into the realm of you can damages.
Yeah.
And suddenly YouTube is now then they can be liable for, they can be held accountable for damaging the brand, because it's just like if you want to have product placement, like let's say you're making a Silence of the Lambs movie and Hannibal Lecter's drinking Coca-Cola. You can't do that unless you have permission by Coca-Cola to use Coca-Cola in that scene. And I would bet you that Coca-Cola does not want a serial killer, as charismatic as he may be, drinking their product. So they have a say over that. So on YouTube, you can't just willy-nilly start using. Now, it's going to be interesting to see, like there's lots of like Star Wars fan films, and they're getting better and better and better. How long is it going to be? I mean, maybe Disney will start, they've done it with their characters. I don't know if that applies to Star Wars, but if they allow people the best films and showcase them or whatever, that's controlling things. And I think in a way that's smart. And you have to do that with your IP because you have to control it. You can't be, trust me, I've been involved in a situation where a studio, Paramount, was controlling their own IP, and I was working on something that was violating that. So they had to step in because they have to. And I think this is a good thing. Plus, as you, along with myself, annoying AF. I'm like, a new trailer. I don't like that. And then I see him and I'm like, come on, guys. What am I, an idiot? I hated all that garbage.
Yeah. And I don't think their work is done. I think they're going to have more to do. And listen, we're still living in the wild, wild west of AI where all these platforms have to kind of figure it out as they go. But at least they're starting with some of the worst violators here. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? YouTube has now shut down 2 of the more prominent channels that were generating fake trailers and passing them off as real using AI. Not only the inconvenience it causes and the confusion it causes the movie fans, but also questions about copyright violation as they're doing it. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this. We're going to do our last round of what's more likely of the year. We jumped on our YouTube channel a little bit earlier today and we asked our viewers, hey, do you guys have a what's more likely scenario for us? Send it on in. Jonathan's got a few picked out that he's going to hit us with. So Jonathan, what we got up here first?
All right, Rob. First up. From Josh Bendelak, what's more likely? It Welcome to Derry launches a third and final film, or it stays all in the show?
That's a good question. I think that the It book is done. They adapted that book. And I could see them maybe making another It movie because both of those movies were successful. The second film was not nearly as successful as the first. But I think that Welcome to Derry was so successful, and HBO likes to keep their artistically successful shows, especially with good viewership, going. So I think it's more likely that they'll continue the story of It in the show and not do a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with you. It is absolutely more likely to keep it as the show. I mean, look, the first It film, I think at the time was like the highest grossing horror film of all time. It made over $700 million. It Chapter 2 was significantly less enjoyable and it made a lot less money. Like it made in the 400 millions is what it made there. Juxtapose that against the success of the show. Like, listen, I wasn't expecting much, admittedly, from Welcome to Derry. I was blown away by it. And I actually ended up putting it in my top 5 favorite shows of the year.
It's also really interesting.
Oh, it's not just like a horror. It's brilliant. They build out the mythology. The characters are good. And I think they found their formula. So yeah, I think it's absolutely more likely that they'll just continue on It now in the TV show.
My only caveat would be if Stephen King wrote another It book.
Sure.
The same way that Stephen King wrote Dr. Sleep and Flanagan adapted that into a movie. That's the only way.
But how did Dr. Sleep do at the box office?
But I thought, you know what? I did think it was a good movie though.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
I loved it, but nobody went to go see it.
No, well, I really liked it.
Crazy.
I was surprised.
You also removed the finality of what it is. So.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. John, is this more likely when we hear from, or what's more likely when we hear from John DX Dragon? Bruce Wayne gets introduced in Man of Tomorrow without the Batman persona, or we get our first intro of Batman and Clayface?
Ooh. Okay, so just first off, I don't think either of those will be our first introduction to Bruce Wayne, but I think the more likely would be that we get introduced to him in Man of Tomorrow, in Superman Man of Tomorrow. Because I just don't think you're going to take one of the Trinity and introduce them in a lower, I'm not going to say lower quality, because I'm sure it's going to be good. I mean, Mike Flanagan wrote it, but a lower profiled project like Clayface. There might be references to Batman. There might be silhouettes of Batman like they did in Creature Commandos, whatever. But I don't think we're going to actually meet our new Batman in that. If we're going to see him get introduced in either of these, which I don't think they will, But if it's got to come down to one or the other, I think it's more likely it's going to be in Superman Man of Tomorrow. Rob?
I totally agree with you. Because, I mean, to introduce him in Clayface, I can understand that being a Batman villain, but you're going to introduce something with your heavy hitter, Superman.
All right. What's next?
All right. Back to you, Rob. Is this more likely, or what's more likely, rather, when we hear from Seth, Spider-Man Brand New Day is the best Spider-Man movie, or Avengers Doomsday is the best Avengers movie?
Ooh, since I have to answer this, I'm going to say that because we're not just, he didn't say MCU Spider-Man movie.
No, he said best Spider-Man
He said
movie.
best Spider-Man movie. I have yet to see a movie that's better than Spider-Man 2 for me. That's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. I'm sorry. I mean, as much as Brand New Day or No Way Home, I loved No Way Home. It was a lot of fun, but it was gimmicky. Whereas I thought that Spider-Man 2 was the perfect Spider-Man movie.
Well, listen, for many years, whenever conversations came up about what's the best comic book movie ever, Spider-Man 2 was in that conversation for a lot of years.
A lot of years. So I'm going to go with Avengers Doomsday is the best Avengers movie. Now, my caveat to that, though, is saying it could be the best Avengers movie. There's a possibility.
Remember, it's not saying which one will, it's saying which one is more likely.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Well, it's more likely that Avengers Doomsday is the best Avengers movie.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you for two reasons. That I think it's more likely that Avengers Doomsday will be the best Avengers movie rather than the new Spider-Man being the best Spider-Man movie. Because it ain't going to top Into the Spider-Verse. It's just not. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse are, in my opinion, everybody's going to feel differently about this, but for me, they are the two best Spider-Man movies ever made. And then even if you want to go past that, like Rob said, there's Spider-Man 2. I just don't see how Brand New Day, I think it can be great. We got our boy Destin directing it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be wonderful because I love the job he did on Shang-Chi, but asking it to be better than like Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse, that's too big of an ask. I just think it's too big of an ask. Whereas Avengers Doomsday, I told you guys on Friday about an acquaintance of mine who got a hold of me from London last week. This movie's going to be the tits. Listen, I've been insisting this movie is not going to be a $2 billion film. I'm sure it'll be $1 billion. It is not going to be a $2 billion film. I'm not so sure about that anymore. I'm really not.
Yeah. I mean, look, just the tone of the 3 teasers that they've put out, the tone of them.
Which we're going to talk about one of them in a minute.
Yeah, the tone alone has sold me. But, the things that little birds are squeaking to us.
The things that happen in this garage stay in this garage.
Yeah. The thing, and I think you're right. Yeah. I'll just leave it there.
So it's, again, I don't think either will be the best of their franchise, but if one was going to be, I'm going to say it's more likely that Doomsday will be the best Avengers movie. All right, what's next?
Okay, John, we're back to you. What's more likely when we hear from EJ Tan when they says Frankenstein winning Best Picture at the Oscars or Sinners?
Well, okay. This is actually an easy one for me. Sinners has the much better chance. Listen, I think Frankenstein, it's my favorite Frankenstein movie ever. I loved it. And I'm so grateful I actually got to see it in the movie theaters where it should have been, period. So I'm so glad I had a chance to watch it there. It's my favorite Frankenstein movie of all time. I don't quite think it's my favorite Guillermo del Toro movie of all time. That's probably still Pan's Labyrinth, but it's close. But Sinners is a mile ahead of it as far as the Oscar race goes. Now, I will say this. I actually think that One Battle After Another will probably win Best Picture, even though Sinners would be my pick. But that being said, if you're saying which is more likely to win the Oscar for Best Picture, Frankenstein or Sinners, Sinners by a mile. Whether you think that's fair or not, I think it's clearly obvious it's got a much better chance to win. Rob, what do you think?
I totally agree with you, 100%.
No, we have been in agreement all day.
But yeah, well. These are good questions, but I think they have very distinct answers, and I agree. I mean, I got to tell you, I loved Frankenstein, loved it.
Oh, it was great.
But Sinners has something in it that makes me like, I got to tell you, John, I just go back and when I've got 10 minutes or something, or I'm doing something, I throw it on. Now that it's on streaming, I'll just throw it on HBO and just watch it. I love it. I love the soundtrack. I love the characters. I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
The music's incredible. The cinematography, the color palette, everything is so rich. The Michael B. Jordan's performance is so good. And again, nothing but good things to say about Frankenstein. I thought it was wonderful. But again, I do think one battle after another is probably going to end up winning. But out of those two, it is more likely that Sinners takes it. All right, what's next?
Okay, final up here, John. What's more likely when we hear from Rafa J. Lopez, who says Jonathan Majors comes back as Kang? Rob, Jonathan Majors comes back as Kang, or Ezra Miller comes back as the Flash?
Woo! Okay, first opening caveat, neither is going to happen. But which one is more likely? Oh, easily. Jonathan Majors coming back as Kang.
Yeah.
Listen, Jonathan Majors is out as Kang for not one, but two different reasons. One was the position he got himself in. He got himself into legal trouble. Again, it's important for everybody to understand that the charges he was found guilty of were the minor parts of the charges that basically said, through being reckless, he inadvertently injured somebody, inadvertently. But he was also acquitted of a number of charges, more serious ones. I said he intentionally, that he was facing a number of charges, and some of them were saying he intentionally tried to hurt somebody. He was acquitted of those, right? That's important to keep in mind. He still put himself in that situation. Nobody's saying he didn't, but it's important to understand the distinction. And, so that's that. But there was a second reason they moved on from Jonathan Majors, is because they weren't even really moving on from Jonathan Majors. They were moving on from Kang.
Right.
Because Disney botched Kang.
Yeah.
You're trying to bring in the next big bad to succeed Thanos. I'm sorry. Your first couple of introductions to him was he gets murdered by Sylvie, by Stabby. Then he gets killed again in the next Loki season. Then Ant-Man beats him. It's like, I'm supposed to feel threatened by this guy? They totally botched introducing Kang to the point that you were never going to be able to seriously move on with him as the next big bad. So those two things. The difference between that and the Ezra Miller situation, besides the fact that Jonathan Majors is also, his character was in the MCU that is still going, and Ezra Miller's character was in a now dead DCEU. So take that out of it for a second. Ezra Miller embarrassed the brand, and not just once, but continuously for like over the course of like a year and a half. I felt like every week on the show, we had to talk about the next stupid thing that Ezra Miller did. And by the way, let me be very clear. I think Ezra Miller is a remarkable performer, not a decent performer, not an adequate. I think Ezra Miller is a remarkable actor. I really, really do. But that being said, Ezra Miller spent well over a year and a half of just humiliating the brand. And because of that, again, take away the fact that the DCEU is dead, so you can't bring Ezra back anyway. If it was a level playing field, I still think it is more likely that they bring back Jonathan Majors, even though I don't think that's going to happen either. Rob, more likely, Jonathan Majors comes back as Kang or Ezra Miller comes back as the Flash?
Once again, I agree with my esteemed colleague
5 for
in
5.
your cogent reasoning. Jonathan Majors, yes. I mean, we have a new universe, and I agree with everything you said. They botched Kang, and unfortunately, look, you and I will die on the hill. I love the Flash. You know what? I don't care if it strains my credulity anymore with people. I liked it. I thought the movie was really entertaining. I liked the tone of it.
I really enjoyed it. It wasn't the best comic book film of all time, but it was a really good, fun film. I don't care what anybody else says.
Sasha Callie as Supergirl.
As Supergirl? Fantastic.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved her. Great hot toy, too.
And I didn't even know if I was going to like her. And I was like, oh, she's great.
She's great. And I love Michael Keaton. I love the whole thing. I love everything about it. So, but he's not coming back.
All right, guys, and that will wrap up the final installment of What's More Likely for 2025. Thank you to everybody who sent in their scenarios. Keep your eyes open, guys, on the YouTube channel for when we put out a call for submissions, because we pick out a few of your calls every day to use on the show. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this. A little bit later in the show, we're going to be talking about the new X-Men Avengers Doomsday trailer. which has leaked. But that comes on the heels, of course, of the Captain America trailer that got leaked before it debuted in front of Avatar. Then the Thor Avengers Doomsday trailer that leaked before debuting with Avatar. And now this one has come out. And I'm just going to say it out loud that some other people have been saying as well. Like there's this headline saying, you know, the Avengers Doomsday X-Men trailer leak feels pretty intentional. I'm going to go beyond that. I am 100% convinced Marvel is the one leaking these out. They are leaking these out. And I'm going to tell you the basis of my belief of that. There's two different bases for that belief. Number one, let's talk about why they would do that. I think the reason why they would release them intentionally is what has the result been? People have been frothing at the mouth. You would think that once you get to see the leaked version, oh, well, now I don't have to go see the real version. But the opposite has ended up being true. People see the leaked version, then they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this in real on the big screen, and people just went crazy for it. And it has become the talk of the internet each time they have done it. And if that has been their strategy, which I think it has been, it has worked to perfection. Everybody in our spaces are just buzzing about them. Like when the Cap one came out, when the Thor one came out, now when the X-Men one came out, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. It has worked out to perfection. So why would they intentionally leak these? Because the results have been nothing but beneficial for them. But now I want to talk about why I actually believe they did it, besides the benefits they're getting from it, which is this. It's far too coordinated. Listen,
Yeah, all three of them.
I don't think it's a coincidence that the Cap one leaked online just days before the real one was coming out. Not the Thor one, the Cap one leaked. And then a week later, just days before the Thor one comes out, a Thor one leaks. Not the X-Men one. The Thor one gets leaked just before the Thor one drops in trailers. Well, it drops in theaters. And now, which we won't talk about it right now, but the X-Men one drops just days before it's going to drop in theaters with that. If these things had come out, like let's say the X-Men one leaked a month and a half ago, and then 2 weeks after that, the Cap one, and the day after that, Thor, and then we had to wait, a month, and then they came out. Then I might suspect, okay, they've got leaks. The timing, the scheduling, the coordination of when these things have hit online is far too, let's just say, accommodating to the goals of Disney. Therefore, while I cannot say that I have talked to Kevin Feige and he verified to me that Marvel itself released these, I can't do that. This is only my own deduction, but I'm sorry. There's no reality you can convince me of that Marvel isn't the one behind these leaks. The results have been staggering, and it's so timed and coordinated for each one specifically. And before people who don't understand anything about how these movies get marketed, well, John, they didn't make the Thor one until right before it came out. That's not how they make these trailers, folks.
No.
They make these trailers and then they go through months of approval processes it's just not how it works. These things were done long in advance. So there is no convincing me. Now, maybe Kevin Feige calls in and he says, actually, John, we didn't. We're actually really upset that these leaked. To which I will say, liar!
Oh.
Kevin Feige, with your lies. But I am fully 100% convinced that these are actually intentionally leaked by Marvel. Rob, we're going to talk about the X-Men one here in just a little bit, but the Cap one comes out just before the Cap. The Thor one leaks just before the Thor trailer. The X-Men one now leaks just before I don't know. What do you think about this tinfoil hat conspiracy theory of mine that no, this is 100% Marvel behind these leaks? What do you think?
Well, John, in the 80s, I was a bootlegger. I used to pay a projectionist and a manager at a theater to let me come in, and I would bring in my equipment and make the best bootlegs I could of movies. Shh, don't tell anybody. Why is it that all the bootleg versions of these trailers look the same?
Yep.
It's like they all look the same. It's not like if you had somebody filming off the screen, everyone's like from the same angle with the same problems, the same focus issues. There's not even if I was doing this, I would have done other things. Like maybe somebody pulls one. They all just look the same. They're the same bootleg trailers, which makes me believe that they were run through the same AI program. Make this look like a bootleg trailer. So I agree with you 100%. And I think brilliant strategy. And why is it that we've now have 3 trailers that we can look at the bootleg release like clockwork? Like, why didn't they come out? Like, it was it the same kid from the same theater when they were stringing up the new trailers for the new screenings of Avatar this weekend, that it was the same guy around the world putting out the same, and he was making the same terrible bootleg?
Are you saying this is corporate overtones?
I'm saying that it's a great way to, you know what, I will say this.
No.
I will say this. It was fun. Look, we all.
That's what Shatner said.
The exact. Don't even bring that up. Don't even do that here. That
Oh
is.
my.
This is. Oh, don't even. Don't even.
It was.
So, no, but I would say that Marvel knows their audience. And I would say, if nothing else, these bootleg releases have been fun. They make it fun. Like, ooh, look what we found. And then they put it out on the internet. They know they're going to scrub it. They even probably know what websites they're being sent to first.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Listen, and I don't even think they put them out, like I think each one, they contacted somebody and said, you can go ahead and slip this one out. And then to somebody else, okay, you can go ahead and slip this one out. Maybe we're wrong. I just don't think we are.
I'll bring this up in the next, when we talk about the next leak, but I got to say something. When I was working with Bill Shatner 25 years ago, his manager, Larry, at the time, said to me something very important about the entertainment business. He said, you know, what everybody's looking for is King Kong. Because if you have King Kong, the audience is going to show up. Mm-hmm. And if you deliver King Kong to your audience, you can do anything when it comes up to, in terms of marketing. But you have to know that you have King Kong. Marvel knows that Avengers Doomsday is King Kong.
King Kong,
They know it.
ain't got
So they're going to have so
on
much
me.
fun for the next year because they know on the December 18th of next year, they're like, you doubted us. And we understand. For 5 years, we let you down. But now we've got you by the tail because we have King Kong. And that's what they're doing. And they're making it fun. They're playing into all of our weaknesses for information. And I like being trolled by Marvel like this. Let them do it because I want to have fun. And they
Like
do have
Cyndi
King
Lauper.
Kong.
All right, guys. Question is for you. We believe, and I think the evidence is there, that Marvel is absolutely behind their own leaks of these trailers. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, as we were just alluding to, talking about the leaked Avengers trailers, the newest one has now come out in all of its potato form glory. The newest version of the Avengers Doomsday trailer, this one focusing on the X-Men. As the folks over at Comic Book Movie say, Avengers Doomsday third teaser trailer leaks online and shows comic accurate Cyclops. And down here you see a little bit of a look of that potato version of him. And it's pretty cool. I mean, just the very fact that it features Patrick Stewart and Magneto, all gray, long hair,
And that's how the first X-Men opened.
long
You know.
beard. And I'll tell you what, Magneto's words in it.
Bro.
I'm paraphrasing
Those
a
are his
little
words?
bit, but he says, you know, death is inevitable. We all die. I'm paraphrasing here. But the question isn't how you die. The question is who you are when you close your eyes. I'm like, oh, I got chills. I got chills hearing Magneto say that. And then it kind of fast forwards then to what a lot of people have been wanting, a comic book accurate looking Scott Summers Cyclops finally getting his justice in the full outfit that everybody wanted to see him in, pulling off the visor and letting loose the big optic blast. And clearly while there's an Armageddon going on around him. And then, of course, like all the other ones, X-Men will return in Avengers Doomsday, screen black, Avengers logo with the clock clicking down. I gotta tell you, man. Whereas the Captain America one left me lukewarm. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. The Thor one was interesting. This one gave me chills. The Cap one didn't. The Thor one didn't. I like them both. Whatever. A little bit underwhelmed by the Cap one. Thor one was pretty good, but this one gave me chills. I loved it. And you know what? I saw another YouTuber, and I can't remember who it was, but they said, you know what? Fine, Marvel, you win. He goes, I've been saying this whole thing is just a nostalgia thing. It is, and it works. He said, you win. I was wrong. This really works, because he watched the X-Men trailer and is like, you get just all the giblies and the pubes start to stand up, and it's just a good freaking time watching it. And it got me excited, man. As somebody who knows everything that happens in Avengers Doomsday, watching this got me excited. I couldn't believe how cool of a thing they made in just one little minute. It's not even a real trailer. So I gotta say, out of all the three, this is the one. This is the one that has actually really impressed me, that I really liked a lot, and has actually got me excited. Whereas the other ones are fine. They are what they are. But this was great. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to watch this little teaser that is now out there and floating around. What did you think about this X-Men Doomsday trailer?
Like you, I think all three of these trailers have shown us something that is incredibly important. And that is what kind of movie they're making. What is the tone of this movie? What is the intent of this movie? And look, I've made no bones about the fact that I think Infinity War and Endgame are two of the finest, not just superhero movies, but fantasy films in general ever made. They're never going to get their due because of their superhero movies, but they're incredible films. They're incredible fantasy films. And you've got the Russo brothers coming back. You have Kevin Feige and everybody at Marvel knowing that the last 5 years just didn't work. Some things have been fun.
Yeah.
You know, but they really just didn't work. These three trailers, and to be fair, I have not seen the X-Men trailer, but I think it would be fair to say that you and I know the meaning of these trailers.
Yes.
That would be a fair thing to say. And if you were to look at these trailers and extrapolate what a full movie that has the intent and tone of these trailers might be like, I think we're in for a real treat on December 18th. You know, I have to say, Boss Logic did a Doomsday poster.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
He's done a couple. He's done a couple. But the one he did of the one with the Dune logo saying Doomsday with the thing, and then the whole the sand, it was awesome. And I'm like, hire this guy. Why aren't they starting the hype and the Doomsday hype? But that's what these trailers have done. They have told us what kind of movie we're going to see. And the thing about the Steve Rogers trailer is it didn't go anywhere by design. It just told us that Steve Rogers, who is the heart and soul of the MCU, is coming back. And then it told us that Thor is going to get involved in some epic, godlike, Asgardian, whatever it is. You know, I mean, he's going to the, please, Father, power of Odin, give it to me.
So here's that one.
Oh, I haven't even seen that one.
Doomsday.
That's another one.
These are all Boss
Doomsday.
Logic. And then
that's
there's this
the
one.
one I saw. That's my favorite. That's my
Boss
favorite.
Logic doesn't exist.
And then there's
and
one more.
I
And this one's really cool too.
Yeah, but I like the middle one. I
Yeah.
tweeted to Boss Logic. I said, bro, get the studio on this right away, because
You remember we had him on the show?
Yeah, you
like
interviewed him.
a year or two ago. We
yeah,
had him on
he
the
was
show with us.
great.
Yeah.
He's great. He's very talented. He knows what's up. But I got to tell you, like, the fact that they show Scott Summers, first of all, everyone knows he got jobbed in the X-Men movies. Sorry, Brian, but he got jobbed.
The biggest mistake they made and I like the original X-Men films, most of them, but that was always the one big catch that they
I have
totally
to
blew Scott Summers.
I have to say, James Marsden has continued to turn in great work for the better part of more than a quarter century.
Yeah.
He's great in Paradise.
He's wonderful.
On the set of Superman Returns, that guy, what a quality human being. I've always loved him. And to see him get first of all, getting that Jim Lee, that
that
Cyclops' Jim Lee outfit,
Yeah.
the height of Jim Lee's powers, doing that new outfit, awesome.
The one he wore in the original X-Men comic book or the original X-Men cartoon series.
Yes, of course. And when he tears off, and he unleashes his optic blast with that expression on his face, that's Marvel's going, we know. The X-Men, we didn't get to do the X-Men. You've seen a little taste. You got a little Kelsey Grammer. You got a little Beast. You got a little Charles Xavier. It's cool. But we know, and we're going to show you. You know what we're going to show you? We're going to show you the Scott Summers you wanted to see for 25 years, but you never quite got.
That classic cover
They
there.
knew. They gave us the Scott Summers that everybody hoped to see. That's not nostalgia. That's a dream fulfilled.
Yeah.
That is a dream. And for me, as an X-Men fan, I watched. Look at it. Come on.
Well,
Come on.
you knew when we got Logan dressed like that they were going to go all the way. So.
And just let me tell you, when I saw that, this little lifelong, X-Men to me is what Star Trek is. They're the comic book equivalent of what Star Trek is to me. I love the X-Men so much. And when I saw that, I'm just like, count me in, son. Put me in, coach. I'm telling you, and imagine, they're going to deliver on this promise for 3 hours.
And listen, that part was great, and I loved it. But Rob, let me ask you a John Campea trivia question. Who was John Campea's all-time favorite comic book character?
Magneto.
Oh my God! And
who did they? And you got it.
And
you got Ultimate
got
Magneto.
it, Ultimate Magneto, and the way just to start off with him narration and giving that, and I am looking forward to seeing Magneto say, "I'm the boss, bitch." And
you and I might know.
woo! And to see him sitting there with Charles, just him and Charles again, and like holding hands as they're playing chess.
By the way, this is the triptych cover of X-Men 1 when they rebooted.
I remember going to the comic shop and buying all three.
All three covers. Now, imagine if you were finally able to see, maybe you're not going to get all of these X-Men, but again, this is a tone. And that Scott Summers cover, that tone, the tone of that Scott Summers is the tone of this Jim Lee cover. And dude, I can't wait. I don't care. The hype is real. We know it's real. We know they got King Kong. We know. I can't wait. It's like when Kevin Bacon was talking about like fascism and JFK, and he says, Kevin Bacon's like, people gots to know. Well, let me tell you, that's a really weird
Can
reference
I tell
to
you
me.
this too? Okay, this is a side note to this. This is a side note to this. Because I have now had no less than 3 different individuals contact me who have the full rundown of the entire Avengers Doomsday thing. 3 separate ones. I was actually talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I said, by July, I think the whole internet's going to know, because I'm already kind of stunned how many people in our circles know about it and know everything that's happening in it, which makes me chuckle when I see some theories out there. That's so wrong. But I mean, it's disseminating so quickly, and it ain't going to come from me, but it's disseminating so quickly that I'm thinking by July, everybody is probably going to know everything. And you know what? Here's the thing. I already know everything.
Right. Me too.
And ask me if it has taken away somebody asked me this on the show the other day, has it removed any of your enthusiasm or excitement then to see it? No, it hasn't. It's only made me 10 times more excited to see this movie now. And who knows, Rob, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not as convinced about this as I was about Marvel purposely leaking these trailers. I'm not going to be terribly surprised to find out that Marvel is leaking this information too, because maybe they know that sheep idiots like me are just going to get more excited about the movie when they hear about it.
Look, we're all going to get accused of. I'm looking forward to the. Hey, right, you're just a Marvel shill. Yeah. I'm like, look, man. All I want is Hot Toys figures, and all the Hot Toys figures from this upcoming movie are probably going to cost in excess of $10,000. That's the only way you could get me to shill for Marvel is I can get Hot Toys figures. They're not sending me any.
You're not getting anything. No.
I'm not getting any. So I'm not shilling. I choose to be excited about things, and when you know about stuff that's exciting, look, I get excited for every James Bond movie because I love James Bond. And I don't care. I get excited, but I don't know much about James Bond movies. With something like this, the information that we possess, I'm more excited about this movie than I have been. Now, I'm excited about Project Hail Mary in a different way, but those two films, I mean, I've read the book Project Hail Mary, so I know what we're getting. I know everything I'm getting. But I can't wait for this. I can't wait. I can't wait for this movie. I can't wait. And I'll tell you something else that these trailers show us. There's a reason why we're getting the X-Men, Steve Rogers, and Thor. Because all of those things, I mean, when the X-Men was good, like Days of Future Past, to me, Days of Future Past as a matter of fact, I'm adding it to my playlist. I'm now going to watch Days of Future Past, I'm going to watch Infinity War, and I'm going to watch Endgame before I go in to see Doomsday. That's what
I still
I'm going to
think
watch.
Days of Future Past is a top 10, maybe top 6 or 7 best comic book movie ever made.
Oh, I
was
totally
awesome.
agree.
I love that movie.
I totally agree. And Roberta Flack's song is in it.
By the way, you
First time.
chose a very apropos color to wear today with all of our Doomsday.
There you go. By the way, I'm team Doom all the way.
Nice. I just want to shout out because we kind of missed it. I did bring it up on screen, but one superfan, X-Men superfan, gave 50 memberships out. So thank you.
Oh my God, 50?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy-
And then EJ Tan also gave out one. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you guys, and again for holy crap. You know what? I was already planning on doing it this week. I'm going to be doing a channel members town hall meeting.
there you
So
go.
now we're going to have a whole bunch more channel members to do it. Thank you guys for that. All right, guys, what do you think about this little leak trailer? I listen. I've been fairly underwhelmed by I like them. Don't get me wrong. But this is the one that's actually got me really excited. I love this one. What did you think about this X-Men leaked trailer for Avengers Doomsday? Whatever you guys thought, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this last topic today here, shall we? And that's this. Staying on the topic of Avengers trailers, the general theory, including one that was mine about a month ago. The general theory that's been going around about these first Avengers trailers was that we're gonna get 4 that is going to be character focused, then a legit trailer. Well, according to a new report, that you got to file this one under the rumor mill.
Ooh.
I love rumors.
According to this new report, that if we are getting this 4th one that's going to be attached to Avatar, it'll probably be another character-based one, because this report is saying the first legit, authentic, true trailer for Avengers Doomsday is going to be at the Super Bowl, just a couple of months away. This comes to us from Comic Book Movie that writes this. We know many of you are eager to get the traditional trailer, and Trailer Tracker brings word today that we can expect it to be released during Super Bowl, whatever that number is, I don't know it, on February 8th. They believe it will be a quote-unquote
60.
massive event, and this definitely wouldn't be the first time that an upcoming Avengers movie has been spotlighted during the big game. Paying for a pricey TV spot during the annual sporting event is a great way to reach the general audience and create strong buzz online among fans. Chances are the big Doctor Doom reveal is being saved for this teaser, because as of now, we don't expect the multiverse saga's new big bad to be highlighted in the final tease set for release next weekend. By the way, I am not counting out that the 4th character one could in fact be Doom.
It has to be.
I wouldn't say it has to be, but I'm not going to count out that it could be that. Now, listen again, this one has to firmly be planted under the rumor mill file. Okay. That said, I totally buy it. I really do. Like, I won't be shocked by this at all, because Marvel, Disney has used the platform of the Super Bowl and just NFL football in general to launch trailers for a lot of their big properties. They have, and there is nothing bigger than Super Bowl. And I'm sorry, but as far as Marvel goes, Rob, you and I believe this. I think a lot of you guys watching this show believe this. This might be the most important release they've ever had, given the state of the MCU right now. This is make or break for the MCU. You can, like, with one movie, you can completely derail the whole thing, or you can get everything batting 1,000 again with this one movie. And I think they are going all out. The very fact that they're even dropping teasers a year out from this movie coming out. I completely believe this notion. Again, I can't prove this. I don't have any verification that this is true, but it just lines up with what would be such common sense. And I'll go one step further on this, Rob. Traditionally, what they do now with Super Bowls, when they drop trailers, because you're paying like $3 million for 30 seconds for a Super Bowl trailer, for a Super Bowl commercial, the last number of years, the traditional thing they do is they show a 30-second version of the trailer and it ends with trailer online now. And then you go watch the trailer. I think Disney is going to bust the bank and play the full trailer.
Well, don't they own
on
ABC?
TV. What's that?
Don't they own ABC? Isn't it on ABC?
Yeah.
They do, but you still
Different
have
division.
to. It's still money changing hands, right?
Yeah, but with this,
well, it doesn't matter because, like, even that's money that you would have gotten from somebody else that you're now giving up.
right? Yeah.
So it's costing them the same amount regardless. I think, and again, this is not a report. This is me deducing this as a normal average movie fan. I don't only think they're going to play the first real trailer for it in front of Super Bowl to get the biggest possible audience and make the biggest possible impact. I think they're going to show the whole trailer broadcast, which is not what movies do anymore. Now they show 30-second versions with trailer online now. I think they're going to show the whole bloody thing.
The whole bloody thing.
Again, it's just a matter of they're going to the mattresses with their marketing for this. They're going to go all out. And I think this is going to be one of the first big pieces that they do. Anyway, Rob, you're hearing this report now that the true trailer isn't going to be this fourth one supposedly being dropped in front of.
They still
Avatar.
haven't even acknowledged these trailers exist.
Well, they're in front of Avatar.
Other than putting right, but I mean,
Yeah.
but they haven't made a statement. They put them out. They've so far put the Steve Rogers one up.
Right. And do you think the first real one is going to be at the Super Bowl? What do you think of this report?
I think, dude, that makes perfect sense, especially when the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. It's going to be even better. No, I think why not? I mean, look, what am I saying? I mean all the time for? You're going to launch whatever this fourth trailer is, and then the Super Bowl is the biggest, obviously one of the biggest televised events in the world. They throw this in it, and they make it a big deal, which ups the numbers for the Super Bowl because let's face it, not a lot of people. Well, in the imagination connoisseur space are not the biggest sports ball fans in the world, but they will tune in to watch this trailer. And I think it's going to be exactly like what you said. They've spent maximum money on this movie. As a matter of fact, I think between the two of us, we could both say they probably spent all the money. They've borrowed everything. I don't even want to know actually, I do want to know what the budget is. But I think marketing, they're going to spare no expense. They're going to spare no expense because they have King Kong.
They have King Kong.
My sources and their terrible sources tell me that they're actually going to be part of the halftime event with Bad Bunny. He's going to be performing to scenes of Doomsday.
Oh my God, dude. Bad Bunny will be singing the soundtrack over the Doomsday trailer. Which, say what you want. I could totally believe that.
I want to know who's score. I hope they bring Alan Silvestri back to score it. Do we know who's scoring the movie?
You know what? I don't. I do not
I don't know
know
if they've announced that. Maybe Michael Giacchino or something.
Side note, I went to a Bad Bunny concert once.
Was it great?
Yeah.
Ann and I went to go see him in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Not my thing at all, but I know where you're going.
And it's the first time I've ever been in a concert where I didn't understand one bloody word that was said. And it was a banger show.
He puts on a fun
He put
show.
on a great show.
He's great. And by the way, he is, from Puerto Rico, which makes him an American citizen.
Yeah. So
Just want to point that out.
Just throwing that out there. He is American. But I'm just saying, I was at that concert and it was pretty damn fun. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think? Do you believe this rumor going around that we're going to get like the proper Avengers Doomsday trailer actually dropped during Super Bowl? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I think there's some good reasons to believe it, but I haven't gotten any verification of it, so who knows if it's true or not. But whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that all down, we're now going to go on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking the live comments and questions you guys have sent in. I'm going to let you know you can't send them in anymore because I turned off the super chats. We got plenty of questions sent in. But before we do, we got to do, just one thing we got to do, which is bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'm excited. God, every time we talk about this movie, I get excited.
I'm pretty stoked for it. All right, guys. With that all said, let's get over to your questions, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Nerdy Beard Man says,
Sounded like a $20 super chat. Thank you, Nerdy Beard Man.
God of War series question: is a flashback type approach for the Greek part of Kratos' background important to include? And does the Greek part in Spartacus style and the Norse part in Viking style not sound bonkers?
Well, here's the thing. I will say it's not vital because I never played any of the God of War games until the most recent iteration of God of War, the one that then led into God of War Ragnarok. And I didn't feel behind it all. Now, every movie you see, at some point in the movie, they give you the background of the character you're talking, even Die Hard, right? At some point, you learn about Bruce Willis that, he's got a family, the family's had some troubles, him and his wife are kind of separated, right? Like they give you background as you jump in. Every movie does that. God of War will be no different. God of War will pick up with the more modern game. And during that game, they will have things like every movie that gives you the background of the character, either done through narration, a flashback scene, which I don't know if there'll be a flashback scene. Again, narration, just regular character dialogue. They will give you the background of Kratos that you need to have. And again, I went into God of War not having any of the background, and I felt like I wasn't missing anything. So is it vital? No. But will they give you some? Absolutely, because every single movie does, and Kratos will be no different.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
We got Red Boy who says, hey, John, I saw Fruitvale Station recently because of Sinners, and man, Michael B. Jordan is just phenomenal. Incredible performance, just Oscar worthy.
You know, one of the great things about Ryan Coogler's films doing well, whether you're talking about Creed or the Black Panther films, and obviously most recently Sinners, is that it's turning some people on to go back to his older film with the one that really made me take notice of him, which is Fruitvale Station. It's a powerful film, man. It's an absolutely powerful film. We've been telling people for years to check it out. I'm glad that you did, man.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
We got Kian or Kyan. Hey, John, I hope you recall the hype. I think if BVS had ended up bringing back Bale as Batman with Nolan directing, it would have been top 3 box office.
No chance in hell. No chance in hell. The only one of those Batman films made over $1 billion. Or did 2 of them? I can't remember. Did Dark Knight make over?
Yes. Wait, I got to check that now.
I know. I'm pretty sure that Dark Knight Rises did. Can you double check both of those?
Yeah, Dark Knight made one. Yeah, that's right. It was $1,008,000,000 for Dark Knight.
So just barely over.
Barely over. And then the other one was $1,085,000,000.
Okay, so roughly the same. Yeah, you think it was going to go from 1 billion to more than doubling that in a DCEU that was already not going over well with the fans? No chance. Now, would it have gotten a lot of people excited? Sure. To the point that Batman versus Superman, which did not make $1 billion, do I think that if it was Christian Bale's Batman, that it would have made over $1 billion? Yeah. I totally believe that. But there's simply no data to support the idea that if Christian Bale's Batman had been in it, it would have made $2.4 billion, which is what it would have had to have made to join the top 3. There's no chance, absolutely zero chance of that. So made more money? Yes. Made over like 1.6 billion? No chance in hell. All right, what's next?
Oscar Herrera says over or under 33% Doomsday uses animated X-Men theme.
I'm going to go over 33% that we at least get a scene that has it.
I think where it's like, it's not the full, but it overtones of it.
No, wait, are they saying the animated show theme or the original movie? Okay. Because they already did that in Miss Marvel.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, I could see it at least having a sample of it. I don't know that it'll be the full, like when cameras go to the X Mansion, you hear dun 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 dun. like, I don't think it's going to be full in your face featured, but at
No.
least overtones of it. Yeah, I'll go over 33% on that.
All right. I mean, with a two-parter, with all that you know about Doomsday, what's stopping you from telling people? Because I assume you didn't sign an NDA, because that puts our agents at risk. How could Marvel allow their employees to share details with people outside the company? Is there a chance some of the info you were given is purposefully fake?
Oh, of course, that potential always exists. Again, like I said, though, I have got it now from 3 different people, and they're all consistent.
Right.
And no, of course, I haven't signed any NDA, or else I wouldn't be talking, because Marvel can only make me sign an NDA if they're the ones who show me the script. If Marvel comes over, hands me the script and says, sign this NDA before, well, that's one thing, but I'm not under any NDA. What's stopping me from telling everybody everything about Avengers Doomsday right now? Nothing. But I won't do it. You know, I mean, look at the shitstorm I caused when I posted what I thought was a fake picture of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. And that caused a shitstorm of epic proportions. This I know is real.
Oh, I can only imagine the amount of like sudden content strikes on our channel every day until we just can't even keep up with keeping the channel alive. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So what's stopping me from sharing it? Nothing. I just choose not to. Now, here's what'll happen. Probably over the next couple of weeks, I will probably give 1 or 2 minor details that wouldn't really be considered significant spoilers by anybody. Just so you know that when the movie comes out and you see that what I told you was right, you'll remember that. But yeah, no, I'm not going to share anything. But yeah, and listen, here's the reality. Something that happens between 3 people is very difficult to keep secret. Something that literally had about 3,000 or 4,000 people working on it is next to impossible that it's going to stay airtight. That nobody will slip anything and all that kind of stuff. It's nearly impossible. Some do it better than others and things like that. But that's why I'm saying I actually believe this thing is starting to disseminate. And I actually believe that probably by the summer, I think everybody is going to know. I think it's just going to become public information and everybody's going to know because it's just getting around. Like I said, I often get contacted by people who tell me things I shouldn't know. And I'll hear from like one person. But I've already heard from 3 separate individuals with all the same matching stuff of the full rundown of the movie. And could that be a blue herring that Marvel put out as a distraction?
Yeah.
Possible. Not likely. So anyway, we'll see.
Especially when you consider the sources.
Yeah.
A. Marcellus. Oh, they're finding all kinds of ways of prodding us. Over under 30% Cyclops is crying because this is the scene where all the Fox X-Men are permanently wiped out. Either that or Professor X has died for the 100th time.
Well, obviously I can't really comment on that other than to say that's a really good theory. That's a good possibility. That's probably what I would think too, looking at it. Again, I just love seeing James Marsden back because first of all, I just love James Marsden and just about everything he's done since X-Men. And again, that was the one character they really did dirty in all the original X-Men films. They constantly nerfed Cyclops. And it's just really good to see him being able to get some good spotlight here. All right, what's next?
We got Matanu says, I wonder if Stranger Things spontaneity combusting makes Disney go into panic over Sean Levy in Star Wars. We already saw something similar to the Book of Henry.
Oh, no, not at all. And by the way, that's a mirage. There's some very loud, listen, all art is subjective and there are going to be people who watch Stranger Things and just legitimately not like it. And that's fine. But a lot of the loudest segments are gutter trolls, who they just scream the loudest. I know I have talked to a lot of people that all really enjoy season. I'm one of them. I'm not even the biggest Stranger Things fan, but I think season 5's been pretty solid so far. I'm really looking forward. And you know what? The numbers of the finale are going to prove it. The numbers of the finale, all these people saying, oh, I hate this so far. If that were true, that like, oh, this ocean of people out there are hating it. If that were true, the next week you're going to see the lowest rating numbers on Stranger Things so far. But you know what? It's going to be the highest. And also, I guarantee you it's going to be the highest.
And also, Sean Levy didn't write this. He produced it. It was Duffer Brothers.
And directed a bunch of it. He also directed a whole bunch of it.
But he didn't write it.
I think he wrote some of it.
He worked that tightly with the Duffer Brothers?
I think he's credited as a writer on some of it as well. I could be mistaken about that. But he's been the producer and one of the main directors on the whole series, which, of course, has become one of the biggest phenomenons that Netflix has ever had.
But this is nothing like Book of, what was he saying? Book of Henry.
Nothing like that whatsoever. All right, what's next?
Av Cali says, I think Doom logic is this. In Endgame, the Avengers proved that their victory was a failure disguised as heroism. They will always choose their world and leave the universe deal with the consequences.
Well, that's not true at all, because like in Avengers Endgame, it's not like to bring back half of human. Like that would be true if the scenario in Endgame was that in order to bring back everybody who got snapped away, they would have to sacrifice the rest of the universe. But that wasn't the case. By bringing back everybody, they brought back everybody across the whole universe. Right. It wasn't a matter of them choosing their world over everybody else. They were fighting for all of existence, right? If you know the Secret Wars story, which I'm sure many of you do, from the comics and stuff like that, especially with Captain America, there comes a very big moral question about at what point is the cost too high to save our world? That's one of the best kind of moral leverage questions in the Secret Wars comic book. Now, how much they use of that in Secret Wars, we'll have to find out, but it's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. All right, what's next?
We got Matthew Paul, who says, do you think all of the X-Men will meet a horrible, tragic fate in Doomsday and Secret Wars? Or will they have a happy send-off, and which would you prefer?
I obviously can't answer the first part. What I would say is that my preference, like if you're facing me with the question, would I prefer a big going out in a blaze of glory or a happy send-off for the Fox era X-Men? My preference would be a happy send-off for the Fox era X-Men. That would be my, one of my favorite things about Deadpool and Wolverine, and I love that movie, but is that little put together montage they did over the credits at the end, to the tune of "I hope you had the time of your life," doing all the the clips of the behind the scenes stuff from all the Fox X-Men stuff. That was I got emotional watching that. So yeah, my preference out of the two options would be to see them all get a big happy send off. All right, what's next?
We got D, who says, if everyone hates Stranger Things so much, please cancel your movie tickets so I can go. Yeah, I'm going to the theaters on the 31st or
31st. Yeah. I'm shocked that all the ones near me are booked out. But again, the big test is going to be the viewership numbers. Mm-hmm. Forget the theatrical, because it's only on a limited number of screens. It's going to be the viewership numbers. And all these people say, "Oh, these shows just..." No. You're going to be back to watch the finale. You all will. And it'll be the highest rated thing they've ever done. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Aaron Epstein says, the boys need to do a parody trailer having Soldier Boy do the Cap Doomsday trailer thing, but instead of a baby, he's holding a decapitated head.
No. I'll do you one better. When the camera pans around, you see Soldier Boy's face, and it pans back, you see a baby in a Homelander costume. There's your winner right there. I love your idea. Just change a decapitated head to a little baby in a Homelander costume. That's the winner. All right, what's next?
Gavin says, how about them Seahawks?
Hey, listen, man. As soon as they got Sam Darnold, who Minnesota was taking fucking crazy pills letting him go. For Jay McCarthy? What?
Kind of reminds me of the Doncic trade thing.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Luka trade.
But it's one of those, like, what are you doing?
But they literally just let him go. I'm like, and as soon as he went to Seattle, we were all like, oh, he's going to tear it up in Seattle. And proof's there. All right, what's next?
We got Raymond. Both Simu Liu and Andrew Garfield were at the 49ers game last night. I know Simu Liu is in Avengers Doomsday. Does this mean Andrew is as well? Unless they're filming it at the 49ers game.
Because there were 70,000 people at that game. No, that absolutely does not mean that Andrew Garfield's in the movie. Not
It's going to be a hell of an opening sequence if they're doing that. Junk Muffin. What a crazy time we're living in where we will go to the theaters in 2027 for a new Superman movie and a trailer for the new Batman movie that comes out just 3 months later. We'll play before it.
Yeah, that's the Matt Reeves one. That'll come out like
Yes.
3 months after that. And it will have that trailer in front of it. That it's going to be, again.
Boom, boom,
you know-
boom, boom. I just can't wait to hear
that music again. Again, we did our most anticipated films of 2026. It's been a while since I've been this excited for a new movie year. And great, listen, it's been, let's not pretend, it's been rough going since the pandemic. It's been really rough going. But man, I'll tell you what, next year looks so freaking popping.
Yep.
I just can't. I'm so ludicrously excited by so many of those films. Now I'm even excited about Primate.
I know. What the heck?
All right, what's next?
Isaac says, this year was crazy for movie re-releases like Jaws 50th anniversary. So I will ask you this. Which movies do you think will re-release? It depends on what's having anniversaries, because that's how they release them usually.
I mean, every year Lord of the Rings gets put out there again. I think isn't it next year that they're doing the Star Wars re-release?
27, I thought?
Oh,
Maybe
okay, it's either 26 or 27 that they're doing the full
77.
The original theatrical version of Star Wars is getting re-released.
I heard it was the 50th anniversary. So would that be
That would
27?
be 77. You're right.
Yeah.
That would be 1977. So you're right. That would be 27. All right. What's next?
But also, if you want to know, you can just go to IMDb and Box Office Mojo, and they'll usually tell you like those kind of films what are going to release.
Just look up the release schedules and they'll show you everything that's on the docket.
We got Arturo who says, during your movie meetups, you were were there any cool movie inspired tattoos that really impressed you? Happy early New Year's, guys.
There were a couple. Now I'm trying hard. First of all, one dude had like amazing Star Wars tats, like one of the the Mandalorian emblem, stuff like that. There was I'm trying to remember the other one. There was another person who I think was in Chicago, like full up showed us their tats and was like, holy crap. And I remember I can't remember what it was though.
Yeah.
But yes, I did see some pretty cool tattoo art on our movie meetups. All right, what's next?
Patrick says, I actually kind of hope Wolverine isn't in Doomsday so Cyclops can get a bit more of a spotlight. Always wanted more of him in previous movies.
Well, let's just put it this way. If Wolverine was in the movie, how's that take any more time away from Scott than if Captain America's in the movie or whatever? Listen, one of the things that Marvel has always done really brilliantly, starting with Joss Whedon's original X-Men original Avengers film, and then all the way through Infinity War and Endgame, Marvel has always done a great job of having a very loaded cast and yet making everybody feel like they had their time to shine. They've been great at that. And so I wouldn't suspect or worry about Cyclops is going to get whatever his time is. If he gets 5 minutes of screen time, then it was going to be 5 minutes of screen time, whether there's 2 or 3 more characters there or 2 or 3 characters left, right? They're going to give him the screen time that he needs to have.
Yeah.
So that I don't have much doubt. All right, what's next?
We got Sean who says, hey guys, $20
Thank
tip.
you, Sean. Appreciate that, man.
Just discovered you guys a few months ago, and now I look forward to you daily. You had mentioned films you are looking forward to in 2026. What are your top 5 streaming shows that you're looking forward to? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I don't.
Is Severance coming out next year? With streaming schedules, I never know what's coming out.
Yeah, I rarely know what. Okay, I will say this. I know The Pit is coming back in January. That's one. I mean, I just put The Pit on my top 5 best shows of 2025.
I always look forward to Slow Horses, and I'm loving Fallout. And if they're going to do a 3rd season of Fallout, then Fallout.
Yeah, I can't even remember what's coming out. I wish I could say I was excited about Wonder Man. But I'm not.
looking like I'm going to watch it, but I'm not excited for it.
I just think the trailers have been bad.
Yeah.
But then again, I thought the Primate trailers were bad. So, and now I'm excited about that. So yeah, we'll see. All right, what's next?
We got, is it Alex? Yes. Hey, John, I thought about what you said, and I signed up for AMC membership recently. Watched a lot of movies in 2025, and I've seen Zootopia 2 3 times.
Listen,
A-list, man.
I'll tell you what, I say this all the time. I'll say it again. I am very critical of AMC theaters on a lot of things. Totally justified. But I also give credit where it's due. And they have simply given the best product there is for any movie fan. which is A-list. A-list is remarkable. Like I pay what now they've just increased the price. So I'm paying what, $27 a month, something like that.
Yeah.
And I can get up to 16 movies a month.
But you also got that popcorn deal too.
And then I bought for $30, I bought their 2026 popcorn pass.
Yeah.
Which gets me a $5 large popcorn. I'm going to have at least 50 of those during the year. That's going to save me at least $250. But the A-list is simply the best thing ever given to movie fans. It's amazing. $27, and that's in LA. I think it's a little bit cheaper in other cities. But for me, about $27, and I can go to 4 movies a week. That's ridiculous. And unlike Regal, and all respect to Regal, they have a really good plan too. Their Regal, what's it called? Regal Unlimited?
Yeah.
I think is what it's called. It's also a great, great program. But if you see something in their Prime screens, you got to pay a little bit extra. You got to pay like a $2 or $3 or $4 surcharge. With AMC A-list, it's regular screen, IMAX screen, Prime screen, AMC XL screen, doesn't matter. It's all covered. It's amazing. If you live anywhere near an AMC and you go to more than one movie a month, you've got to do yourself a favor and get AMC A-list. It's fantastic. All right, what's next?
We got Alex Mercer, who says, you guys have a great upcoming New Year's, and I'll be continuing to work and lurk during your live streams all of next year in 2026.
Thank you so much for that, Alex. And it is so weird that we're almost into the new year. It's funny because Ann and I have been so busy. We were with some friends the other day and said, "Oh, what's your New Year's Eve plans?" And we were both like, "We haven't even thought about it yet. We still don't know what we're doing for New Year's Eve. We'll find something."
And I skipped one by accident. Alex says, no, sorry, it's this one. Smart with Stefan Alfie says, how was your Christmas? I was sad to see you didn't make it back home for the holidays. I hope that day was not too tough for you. Peace.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm extremely bummed that I didn't make it home for Christmas. Something came up scheduling wise and we couldn't go. We're going to try to go soon though. I especially, first of all, I love being home for Christmas. I don't see my family nearly enough. I'm not a phone talker. And so me and my siblings don't actually stay in touch very much. But when we go home, then everything's great, right? And so I love my time to go home and see my siblings. And this year in particular, this was the first Christmas without my mom. And more importantly, it was my dad's first Christmas without my mom. And so I really wanted to be there and we couldn't go, but we will. So that I'm not going to lie to you, that weighed on me a bit during Christmas, but it is my favorite day of the year. And I got to spend it with Ann and her side of the family here. So, Ryan and Ray and Olive and Ann's mom were over here, and we had other friends come over. We actually, on Christmas Day, we had people coming over all day. It was a lot of fun. It was really good, but I much rather would have been at home. All right, what's next?
Tim says, Disney will probably use America's Big Football Game this coming February to finally show the real Doomsday trailer.
Well, yeah, that's, as we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, I think that's exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Then X-Men Superfan, by the way, thank you again for all those signups.
Yes, thank you, X-Men Superfan.
Says, what did you prefer or like more, the original West Side Story or Spielberg's?
I actually preferred Spielberg's.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Now, that might be an era thing, but I actually prefer Spielberg's version. And again, I thought that it was such a dumb idea for Steven Spielberg to do West Side Story.
I thought it was very strange.
Strange choice. I thought it was a bad idea. And then I watched it and it was undisputedly one of my absolute favorite films that year. It was just remarkable. Like, he is simply the greatest filmmaker ever. Like, it's not even debatable at this point because he can do everything. And the fact that he came out and did this big project, like musical, and just crushed it. He is the greatest of all time. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Israel says, are you familiar with another movie news related YouTube show called Movie Buzz with Peter Rallis? It no longer exists, but it was a fun show.
I'm not. Now, remember, the YouTube scape is a huge scape.
Massive.
And he's probably never heard of me either. I mean that is no disrespect, but no, I'm not familiar with that one.
All right, we got Ben Milner who says, what is more likely, Doomsday or Dune movie or neither? Wait, what's more likely, Doomsday and Dune movie or neither?
Dune
Like
move.
yeah.
Dune move, not
Yeah.
movie. You know what? A few weeks ago, I would have said 100% one of them is going to move. Then Warner Brothers kind of dropped that. Nope, we ain't moving Dune. I don't think Disney's moving Doomsday. I think we're getting Doomsday. I never would have thought this was even remotely a possibility a week ago. But it looks like we're getting Doomsday. I think it's a very odd choice by both studios, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I was pretty stoked for it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked for it. So it looks like they're both going to come out on the same day.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Edward Wells says Betty Boop public domain soon.
Really?
That's
I guess that makes
sense.
sense. Yeah.
John said, Darius says, if Marsden is incredible, he will be. I'm curious how they'll top or match the same level of hype and trust for the reboot film in 2028. What are your hopes for Scott in the future and Avengers overall?
Well, I mean, look, it's not a secret. James Marsden isn't going to be our Cyclops in the new X-Men universe, right? I think we've all thought for the last couple of years, we've been saying this, that, sure, they're bringing back these X-Men characters for Doomsday, maybe Secret Wars, but they're not going to be, like, Patrick Stewart is not going to be our Professor Charles Xavier moving forward. James Marsden isn't going to be our Cyclops moving forward. So what do I hope for Cyclops? Listen, I love the Cyclops character. I just want to make sure they don't do him dirty like they did in the original X-Men films. And I really love the original X-Men films, but that was the one thing they really dropped the ball on. So I just want to see him get his just desserts, man. That's all I want to see for Cyclops. All right, what's next?
Anthony says Wicked for Good is hitting VOD and closing its box office run around 500 mil. That's a 33% drop from Wicked 1. Safe to say Wicked is done. No spinoffs?
No. I mean, listen, 500 mil is $500 million at the box office. Is still $500 million at the box office. Listen, I was shockingly, pleasantly surprised by the first Wicked. I really like that film, and I am not its target audience. So I was a big fan of the first Wicked. But while I overall, like, by the end of the day, I kind of liked Wicked 2, but it was a big step down for me from the first one. It was a big step down. But I still think there is a hunger out there for it. Look, would I do another Wicked Universe film? No. But I don't think this one making over $500 million necessarily means that automatically means they won't do more. So I don't think they'll do any more, but I don't think it completely, shuts out the possibility. All right, what's next?
We got Mega Red. You said the Steve teaser showed a lot of hubris. Knowing what you know now, do you think Doomsday will be able to back that up, the hubris?
Well, I mean, the hubris was not about how good or bad Doomsday is going to be. It was hubris because they seem to think that everybody's opinion of the MCU today is just as strong, if not stronger, than what it was in 2019. And it's simply not. And that first Cap teaser kind of felt like it was the biggest, hottest thing going right now, and people are just going to eat up any little crumbs we give them with this just showing Steve's face. And I thought that was the hubris. It wasn't about how good or bad Doomsday was going to be. I am more convinced than ever that Doomsday is going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome. Now, granted, I've read scripts before that I thought were good scripts, and then the movies themselves didn't end up living up to the potential of the scripts. And maybe that happens here, but I have no reason to believe that. I think this movie is going to absolutely rule. All right, what's next?
Lohit says, will normies love Doomsday? Seems much homework.
That's a really great question. Yeah. Yeah, because listen, it is such a crowd-pleasing, massive scale spectacle that I do think normies are going to really dig it. I think there's going to be some elements that might confuse people a little bit, but they'll move past it very quickly. I think Kevin Feige has learned a valuable lesson over the last couple of years about making sure that everything is a valid entry point for new fans. I honestly think somebody who's never seen another single MCU film will be able to go into Doomsday and watch it. They may not get everything, but I think they're going to be able to watch it and not feel like they're lost. All right, what's next?
X-Men Superfan says, talking about X-Men and Professor X and Magneto, think Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, they bring a Shakespearean attitude and dictation to their roles, or diction. I'm just enthralled by their performances.
Well, and that's exactly what their backgrounds are.
Yeah, they're classically trained.
They're classically trained, Shakespearean in many cases, performers who absolutely transition that. That's why Kenneth Branagh is one of my favorite directors. Not that I love every single one of Kenneth Branagh's movies, but he just has that sensibility that more times than not really works. And
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen bring, I'll use the word, a regalness. You know, Rob will often say a certain somebody will always classes up the joint. When you got Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart and something, you class up the place.
Yeah.
And they bring a regalness to it.
They
And,
do.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny is you even mentioned Kenneth Branagh. They do bring this regalness to it, but it's not to their personality off stage. They're not like we are God Kings. They are like we're common men. They're just so down to earth.
Yeah.
You know?
I love those two.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Derek says, with a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Derek.
You don't have to say what you've heard about Doomsday, and we won't. But from what you've heard, has it changed your opinions on whether or not Doom is or isn't a Tony variant? Can't really answer that.
No, because he's just asking if it's changed my opinion of it.
Oh, okay.
And my opinion has always been he could be, he might not be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to answer that. It hasn't. Okay, I will say this. My whole opinion about whether Doom is a Tony variant or not has been, I'm not really sure. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm going to say my opinion on that has not changed. That's the one nugget you'll get from me. My opinion on that has not changed. All right, what's next?
Digipoc says, with the decade halfway through, what has been, my God, it's halfway through. What has been the biggest news story so far? COVID hurting theaters, studio mergers, strikes. I mean, COVID was probably
It has to be COVID.
yeah, just a massive shutdown of everything.
I
Including
mean,
the
it's the
theaters.
first time that movie theaters en masse had been shut down since like what, World War II or something.
Yeah.
No, even in World
No,
War
because
II,
World War II, they were
kept
still
them
doing the
open.
newsreels and they had to shut movies.
I mean, it's, even though it was at the very, very genesis of the decade, it might be the most significant movie industry story as a whole ever. It literally shut the entire industry down for ages.
Because even
No
during
movies
the
were being
Yeah.
made, no movies were being planned, no movies were being presented. I mean, it's got to be COVID, 100%.
yeah, because even during the strikes, we were still getting content in theaters.
Yeah.
No.
And a lot of the strikes was just getting double down damage from the stuff we were still experiencing. Like
Yeah.
the strikes wouldn't have hurt as much had we not just come out of the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
exactly.
got to be the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Ash says, I have a feeling that we'll finally see X-Men leader Cyclops, just wanting him to say, my X-Men, just like how we waited to hear Cap say, Avengers Assemble.
Well,
Wish Cap had said it a little louder.
Yeah.
But-
Avengers.
Assemble. Like, we heard it. Let's go.
How did anybody hear him? But that's Xavier's line. I get it. Cyclops said it in X-Men 97. To me, my X-Men. That's really more Charles Xavier. We'll see. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Okay, Anton says, AKA 28 Bones Later, I've never seen any of the Highlanders. Should I go into the new Highlander movie fresh or watch Highlander 1 and 3 first? P.S. I know because of you and stay away from Highlander 2.
Stay away from Highlander
yeah.
2. Yeah, stay away from Highlander 2. Well,
It's a remake,
this
right?
is a reimagining.
Yeah.
It's a remake, a reimagining. So the answer is you don't have to go see any of the previous Highlander stuff at all to be able to go in and watch the new Highlander because it's starting from scratch. It's Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. I mean, it's all that. So it's kind of a remake. That said, Highlander, the original movie, is the oddest entry in my top 10 all-time favorite films. Like every time I mention my all-time favorite films, everybody goes, "Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh, that's a
Right.
good. Oh yeah, that one." And then I get to Highlander, and everybody's like, "Highlander?"
They're like your favorite like cult film, right? Not like favorite all
No, it's
time.
in my top 10 favorite all-time films. So I'd say watch it just because it's great. But you don't have to see it in
Yeah.
order to watch the new
You know what?
ones coming.
Do a nice double feature. Go watch Highlander and watch The Last Starfighter and just have an 80s blast.
God, that's one they have to remake. I would, oh my God. Oh my God, what I wouldn't give for them to do a remake of The Last Starfighter. Anyway, all right. What's next?
You know what? That was it. I thought we had one more, but that was the last.
Oh, all right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey guys, don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow for the next installment of our show. We'll all be back here. Hopefully you guys will too. Make sure you share our video around, tell people about the show, become an evangelist for the John Campea Show. And we appreciate all of you guys who are our channel members. Again, keep your guys' eyes open if you are channel members over the next day or so for when I put out a post announcing when our next channel members town hall meeting is going to be, because it's going to be in the next couple of days. Anyway, for Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea. Thanks so much for being here today, guys. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.